Hey guys, this is Traz, and this is my dual blaze spawner EXP grinder, which is long, so I've just been calling it the blaze machine. This is dual blaze spawner EXP grinder is kind of a mouthful. There's one, and the other one is right there. And they all kind of get shoved over to this one spot in a pretty cool way. So let's kill them off. And that's a normal, lower their health to 1 HP timer. Yeah. And I got them all. So that was almost 100 of them. And I can reach all the blaze rods in that corner right there. This one down here. That was level 1 potion. Not level damage 2 or whatever. Alright, now that the conveyor belt's off, the conveyor belt gets turned off when you hit this button. And it shoves them into place for everything. And so now they're just kind of gathering down in here. So let's turn it back on so they come out of here. So they'll get moved along on the conveyor belt here. There we go. Come on, guys. Alright. Now I don't want them spawning now, so this lever activates the block switch. This double piston pushes them out and pushes them down. There's a row of them. And I have a system set up to swap this block with a glowstone block and push it out to this spot, like right here, all the way along for that row. And if you have a glowstone row here and a glowstone row there, it's enough light in this entire space to shut off the blaze spawner. I started working on this before, like, redstone lamps were kind of announced and came out and everything, but I kind of looked at them and, I don't know, you'd have to, like, blazes can spawn at a pretty high light level. You'd have to, like, push the entire ceiling down one block or something, but then you'd also have to light all the lamps. So instead you'd have to, like, put lamps along here and down there, and honestly I had this almost done, so, well, it was pretty much done, but been working out bugs and all sorts of fun stuff since then, so I got this worked out, and it's working really well now. Just made a bigger hole. Right. So let's get the glowstone switched. So it'll switch them and it'll push the blocks out. And the rest of the blazes will come along on the conveyor belt here. This is Seth Bling's cake-based conveyor belt, which I've kind of adapted into, I'm using trapdoors, and I lowered the ceiling on it, and I've done other stuff. He didn't want to come. They get scooted along here, and then, God, I got multiplayer glitchiness. They rise up to the top of this, they get pushed across to here, and shoved down, or, well, they just get shoved, they get pushed over here when they get to the top of the lava, and then they fall down when they can. The ones that don't get shoved over by the button. It pushes them over, and then there's 3, like 1, 2, and then this would be the third spot that pushes 3 down, and then they get all tucked into these 2 spots here, and then the pistons push out, crushing them. So you can see that. So it'll push this out, then down, into place, and then Oh yeah, and then a quick thing I found out is if you don't want experience for some reason, I don't know who wouldn't want experience, just hit the button again, and oh, did I do it in time? Yeah, I did it. Nice. See, technically, oh, I did it again. But technically, the circuit for the timed crusher, it was resetting. So when I hit the redstone, when I hit the button, it just did it allowed that pulse to go through for just the button, and it gave it that extra pulse to kill the blazes off if you don't want the experience for some reason. And sorry, these are kind of ugly and not in place. I actually kind of built the room around them so I can set this up for recording. Just been kind of throwing in some decor here and there when I can. And let me know what you think of the floor. I was like, I'll throw every half slab down because I was tired of figuring out a pattern to do. And I'm like, well, that looks kind of cool actually. I am missing the stone one, but there was too much gray with it. But I got the 4 here, and it's pretty cool. And alright, so I got more stuff to show. Well, because it's obviously multiplayer because of the crap on the ground. So I just do everything in multiplayer though, and I'm just used to how the mobs work. You might have seen them like glitching out and trying to they'll have like client-side clones like jumping out at you or shooting out across the room or out the ceiling or whatever. And I kind of got a hang of how that works. And using kind of a combination of these transparent blocks and the solid blocks, well, since I placed them all in the same spot, they're nicely swirling in that one exact spot. Yeah, it's still doing that. That wasn't a lag or anything. If I walk into this corner here, it'll actually shoot me backwards, which I thought was a pretty cool trick. It doesn't do it on this side as well. No, it doesn't. This side it does. But all the mobs are like bugging out this way anyway. I should log out of this set for a second, but I don't think they keep this awesome little swirl they have going on here. Let me try game mode. So they shouldn't kill me here. Nope, just let's be back. They can't see me. That's funny. I can't imagine when there's almost 100 there. 500 in there. I did a stress test of that a while ago. I haven't done another one of those in a while. But back to flying. What was I saying? The mobs are shooting out like client-side clones move around. How do I get them to not? Oh, I can. I gotta get rid of the ceiling. That'll open up the hatch above them. So they should start bugging out everywhere. There they go. So, they don't shoot out of this room much, but I got them to all shoot out kind of the top there. I think they... they're all too uniform. I'm going to show you, but they're all... Well, yeah, there we go. See, they all shoot out the top. They all kind of get funneled that way, which works out. This is a creative server, but I found like a dual blaze spawner in the survival server that I'm going to set this up on now that it's complete. And it's running pretty well. Some do come out the side here, and that's kind of fixed. If I put blocks here, they completely stop. It kind of really fixes that. But that's not as cool looking. And you don't bounce off them. But they are all shooting up, so that they don't push you around. You know, if you want to idle here, I haven't set the, I'll have a pattern in the floor that kind of marks where both of them will spawn, or only one of them will spawn, or whatever. So, I like to keep that, but yeah, they are kind of moving out here a little bit. So yeah, let's get them again. I use the potion again. Hit. And got all of them. All those blaze rods. Oh, I can't wait. And now that I'm blind for a second here. Okay. Alright. So, yeah, I can put blocks there, and then I'll make them all shoot out the top if I want to. I'll have these set up a lot better. Maybe, I was thinking, maybe put the buttons like here and here, if possible. I don't think that's going to end up possible, because I got a piston right down there for the conveyor belt that's in the way. But I'm going to try, I'm going to see what if I could do something, make that cool. If not, I'll just put them on the wall over here somewhere or something. Okay. Alright. These columns are actually circuitry, which makes it cool. If I was looking around, you could see these kind of flash and do funny things. But the, oh, I know. Yeah. Just put the stairs. Wiring goes up to the ceiling. And it makes a kind of cool column, while at the same time, you know, a light, you know, it turns on when certain things are happening, turns off when certain things are happening. Like this one's a pulse that goes to the top, so this one's kind of flashing. This one's only on, well, I mean, you end up never seeing it on, because this one is actually the crusher. This piston and the one in front of it are actually the crushers, so maybe I'll change that a bit. I don't know. I could put a circle block there, but I think this looks better. I'll try to match some more sandstone, because nether brick and sandstone is great. Put that there, and that there. Alright, next thing. This is the circuit for the light switch. I call it the light switch. It's a crazy glorified light switch. I already have a video of this up, so I'm not really gonna go over it. Well, I mean, I'll just say it just kind of pulls the... I mean, this will pull the block back. It'll pull it up and put it here. It pretty much switches the this with the glowstone, and then it resets back into position. You can check the other video for that. I mean, it was my first ever video, so it is kind of crummy in quality and sound and whatever. But so I am gonna kind of go over how like this stuff works down here in some of the circuits in this video, but I'm not gonna go over how to build this. I'll probably kind of do it slowly and step by step as part of my Let's Play, and just put it in just me kind of building it and just kind of maybe doing it in tutorial form if you really want something crazy like this. But you don't need the light switch. It's just kind of an option. I'm just crazy like that. So I'll show you kind of what it can get down to. Oh yeah, let's just go over there now. Alright, I set up this one. So many versions. But set up this one, and kind of this is what I kind of wanted to show more of, and how all the parts in this one work, because this one is pretty much dumbed down and simplified, just, well, not that simplified, but it gets blazes getting to where you need them to go, and they're tricky to move otherwise without pistons. And this, I like this setup really well. I got the lava columns and everything. It's really cool. So, alright, so I'll just kind of go over how each part of this works and talk about each of it and kind of show what each circuit is and kind of what I've learned from this whole project. And some stuff I might have discovered that's new. I don't know yet. I haven't been able to find some of the things that I found that I've discovered, so I don't know. It might be useful to people. So we'll go over all that. Alright, so first is the... I'm still calling it the cake base conveyor belt. I wish I could put cake back on it, but cake is too high for this now, because I lowered this to this point right here, and as you can see, I cannot actually walk in here now, which seems funny, but with cake, nothing can actually get through here. With the trapdoors, you can actually get through here. I can't actually walk through. When you get pulled in, you can't hop backwards. It's impossible. Unless you break the glass. What I was having... What this kind of helped was that, you know, when blazes get down, they like to jump on the ground. And they'll jump back along this thing, like constantly. And they'll hang out up here. But once they're in there, if they sit still for like a second, they cannot get out of this. And I'm just jumping and pushing back and trying, but no, the lava. And then they'll swim up top here. And then this is constantly pulsing. I don't know why there's not glass on that one. This is constantly pulsing, and it pushes them over to this spot, which they'll usually fall down to here. Yep. And then when you hit this, 1, 2, 3, and then the crusher goes off and crushes them against the side of this block here. Once that goes out, we'll pull this out because these right here are actually stairs. When you push the block like this into a blaze, it'll hurt them, obviously, if it's a solid block. But stairs are transparent, and they won't suffocate in them. When their head, and only their head, gets shoved into the stairs, they will move down below it. You have to give them about 5 ticks of a repeater, but they will move down below it. So what this does is these two on the side push out, and then it goes 1, 2, and then they move down a little bit, and then 3. And I'm hitting the ceiling here. I don't think it matters. And then they'll get to this spot, and then the crusher gets them. And it works really well. 2 to 3 ticks, they'll not move down fast enough, and they'll actually get stuck in the stairs, and some of them will be hanging out up there, which is annoying. And then you'll have some that aren't hurt, and most that are. So, there's that. Oh, I'm level 99. Nice. From all these testing this thing, I throw a random enchant on something just to see what I get. Alright, so there's that. So that's the conveyor belt. Into how this works. Going up here, I'll show the circuit. So this is just the timer for the crusher. This is all on Ethos' Blaze spawner tutorial. This circuit is pretty much just somewhat copied off of that. I had to add my own couple of things into it. But yeah. Oh yeah, these. This is new. I don't know. This is a really nice bud switch now, because these, let's see, these lamps are, I mean, they're a block that, you know, creates block updates. Let's see. I'll do it like this. Yeah, it's a block that creates block updates. So I can actually do this. and since it's 2 above, it powers the piston below it, but only when something for the piston is detected. So you can actually now have a too high column. Well, I mean, there's some other block upgrade tricks I saw with like a track and stuff, but these redstone lamps are really cool. I mean, you can even kind of mask it, you know. This would be the ceiling. It's like 3 high. Ooh, look at this column. How is this possible? Oh, well, I mean, it just turns the lights on, right? Yeah, but it also activates whatever else you want to. Be it a more lights or a deadly trap that drops them into a pit. Oop. So, this is what this does. And it's kind of covered up by the floor here. But it activates this piston, which pushes it down and hits right here. And, well, yeah, this is all kind of normal circuitry for the blaze grinder. This is the pulse, the rapid pulse for the cake-based conveyor belt. These ticks are really wonky. Wish somebody could somehow explain exactly how this works, because I just had to toy with it until it made it work. But the bottom one needs 2 ticks, and the side one needs 1. So 1, 2, and I mean, you could do it like this too, but that only sometimes works. And you also need it in the right positioning, like powered from the side sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. This is what I worked out for this one. This made it stable and not bug out most of the time, but 1 here and then 1 going through here, and so there's 1 here. So this makes the bottom one 2 ticks and the top one like 0 tick, or 1 tick, yeah, 1 tick. But this is also 2 ticks. So that wouldn't change anything, right? No, apparently it does. But this made it work. God, I hate to break this thing. Well, actually, this is the test one, so whatever. Because it's annoying to repair the conveyor belt. But, see, that's... I need a lever. See, that breaks it. Even though it's the same, it's still 2 ticks on the bottom, still 1 on the top. But I guess that's like half a tick realm. I wish somebody had a tutorial on half a ticks, but they're very... I don't understand. See there? 2 ticks on the bottom still, but still doesn't work. And what finally worked was having it from through a block and straight from the wire. Just gave it the push it needs to actually go. I wonder if it broke. Or did it? It did. Somewhere. I don't know where the block got pushed. It's probably got pushed into this wall. No? Oh, no, it is. I guess it's okay. Cool. Alright. So... no, it's working. Okay, cool. I just have to put this to here, and that's the preset. So it starts with this block before this one, so it has to start with that, otherwise it might be a little wonky and push a block into the ceiling. This obsidian is not required. It's just kind of a safety in case I screwed something up and it pushed the block that way, which, you know, it wouldn't push the block that way in that case. just to prevent an error, just in case. But at this point, now that I got like this part figured out, and that thing, whole crazy, that annoying thing over there finally figured out, I don't really need that anymore, but I'll leave it there for now. Because I start fooling with something and accidentally activate the conveyor belt, and when I'm have something attached into something else. This is a pulse generator. Well, I mean, this is another rapid pulse generator, and this is a pulse lengthener. I wonder if somebody can tell me how to do this a little better. But this is a normal pulse lengthener, and it's just shoved alongside of each other. I couldn't find anything like this. I just wanted a really long pulse, so I made this, and I shoved them together and stuck two on top of each other, which then wraps around and does it again. So I'll go ahead and turn this one on. So let's see. Oh, it goes up and over, and across the top, and then down under, and then it finally ends, letting the piston go back. And it starts back under. It goes under and over, and then around the top again. And meanwhile, it's hitting this wire, this one wire, all the way through the middle, for every repeater. Into that block, into that block, into, into that block, block, all hitting that wire. So the signal goes up here. I could probably have this the opposite way. I don't know. I just kind of finished this the other day. I haven't really rethought it yet or looked at it, but it's working really well, so I'm just leaving it for the moment. So, actually it's working the opposite. Wait, what? This should be, oh, right, the machine's off. It needs to be on, and then the pulse will constantly go. Otherwise, I mean, it's the off switch actually also connects separately into that, which closes that. It pushes the sides, and then it pushes down. So, I'll just reattach it now, since I'm going to have it on. There we go. There's my long pulse. Comes up here, through the lamp. What's that? It goes up. And it hits the triple piston, or the double piston, on that side and that side. So, that's all that is. This other side is the off switch. It connects into, well, it just connects into the, it's added into the circuit for the off switch. And it comes up here. And the first thing it hits is down here. Okay, it comes up here. First thing it hits is this one. This one's on one tick. So it hits the doubles on either side first and closes them tight. The second thing it does is need to move my own circuits here. Second thing it does is no, this part's second. So it comes up here and it hits this piston second, which is the top. So it goes sides, top one, then this comes through around through the other side. This is just these I had to do, I don't know, I had torches for the other one over there just so it fit together and all this. You saw the mess over there. I'll show you like the different. This is kind of what I set up so you could actually see what the heck is going on with that. But so I just did that so the torch would, this torch would activate it like that instead of having to wrap around to the other side. So, but this comes through here, just comes down. So it actually hits here first. So this repeater hits this block, which hits that wire, which hits this piston first, and then it goes 4 ticks, one more tick, so about 5 ticks, and then it hits that that right there, which also actually activates the one underneath it, which is the third one. So it goes 1, 2, and then 3. So, and then it activates the crusher, which is underneath, which is set to a certain delay to go off shortly after that, which I actually just added it into the delay circuit. Since it resets anyway, it gets to this point. Well, yeah, I just added it into the delay circuit. I just put it in this point right here, instead of adding it in the beginning of the delay circuit. And a lag here, what the heck? One take this whole time. Alright, I'll be back. Hey guys, sorry about that. I was having a problem with where I was recording to, and then I had to play a race for a match, which we won, and it was fun, and now I'm trying to figure out what I was talking about here. I saw the end. Let's see. So, wire this into this spot instead of down here, and then since it starts here, it still goes through this process again to reset, and it actually stops, it actually pulls the 2 pistons back on the reset. Which is nice. I lost an entire extra line of repeaters that I had here first. I'm like, wait, can't I just put them there? Alright, and then the last thing, I think it's the last thing, there might be one more thing, is the double piston pushers that, well, I have them up here. I have 2 different types here. I have this one here, and this one just kind of wires from the side, and it has a low, like, amount that needs to be on the bottom, and then, but it has to go from the top. And that's what this one avoids. It avoids some space on the top here. I can't have this any higher, though, because then this torch activates those pistons. Actually, maybe, oh, this can go up one higher. Huh. Well, this is the basic one. So this can go up one higher. Cool. Or this whole thing can go down lower. You know, just cut and move it in MC Edit. Oh, that would be tricky. Oh, no, that'd be pretty easy. I could just move this down. Anyway, this was all just kind of created so that it only pushes the 1 piston at a time. So it creates less piston movement overall, since like we have like this conveyor belt going off the entire time, which, you know, is a little bit. I mean, there's only 4 pistons moving, and other than that, it's just a bunch of blocks just constantly moving at a 2-tick pulse. So it does create a little bit of lag if, you know, my computer isn't that great. It's able to do this pretty well, though. But this only does 1 at a time, and it works through, like, this pressure plate will activate the piston, which does this stuff, and if one hits this pressure plate, it actually powers this piston diagonally, which of course doesn't do anything until you update it with a block, block update. But what the fence gate does is kind of an instant block update to the thing next to it. So it makes that work. When I first posted about this, people suggested like redstone and maybe like rail tracks, and that ends up like also powering the ones next to it and causing block updates. And it does some weird stuff if there's other mobs on the pressure plates, and causes like extra pistons to move that don't need to. So, well, with the fence gate, it is kind of interesting looking. So that's how that one works, and it's really pretty stable. Oop. I'm trying to sprint across it, but it's pushing me off too fast. I have it set time. Oh, there we go. Actually, I could have done the other. Duh. Oops. Here we go. And that's how that works. So yeah, it just kind of winds up through here and does that. This is pretty much, well, like, the one down here is kind of pretty much the same as the one up there, but it's, you know, wired from underneath, and I had to work out a way to make it work so that so the torches would just come out to a point, and the repeaters would come out to a point where I could wire both the front block here and the middle one from underneath, and then hit the back one from over here. And then this is what adds an extra tick of delay. So I put the piston here instead, and the trapdoor on the opposite side. And it still works the same. These are the two spots. I just had the levers up there. And I pointed this downward. Cuts it close. This is the conveyor belt. Goes right alongside it. And it hits the torch here, and this cuts it close too. Banging everything together and trying to make it compact, and then adding something else new in is tricky sometimes. It just usually ends up colliding, and then you have to rework it again. But I don't know, it makes it fun too. So let me show you more about these. I have a couple of them set up over here, and along with a couple experimental ones, or maybe at least one. I don't know. I have to look at it again in a second. This is kind of the first one I did, and well, I mean, this is the, like, an entire row one. This was actually the first one I did, and it just kind of wires the whole platform, and then they come up along here, and then this wires the whole top row. But I wanted to make less pistons go off, so I tried and I found this one, and this was pretty crazy to get to work. I mean, when I look at that over there now, and then I look at this, it's like, this was before that one over there. This one is, it has stairs here because it has, this torch is powering the block here, and it ends up causing, like, if piston pushes out, it ends up powering the one next to it, and then it gets stuck out here. The red stone torches are exposed, obviously, and I can't really put a block in there. This torch is here. But what's really actually still unique about this one is the back row is all individual. I know this isn't really useful or anything, it's just probably at this point, but it's just interesting. And the front row actually pushes the whole thing. And I have it set to, like, detect the pulse because it actually winds back through and actually hits the wiring underneath of the other one. But the single one comes, I mean, like, the whole row one wires around and does some stuff to get into all of the single ones. And then the single one is in the back are wired just to here, 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 up and around, and it hits, it just goes through like this. Oh yeah, and it only wires from underneath. It doesn't actually have the overhead that the others even do. So it also has that benefit. Maybe I'll look at this again at some point. Maybe I can see what I can do with it. Because, I mean, it's, yeah, has some interesting things to it. But I think that's all for that one. Then this one I think is the... Yep, this is the one that I already have wired up over there. So this is the fence gate one. Haha. That's the row. Use this. There's some errors sometimes if you move around on it too much, like crazy. Usually blazes just fall straight down, and they move around a little bit when they're getting pushed around. They don't, sprint everywhere across the platform. So I do manage to get these errors rarely, so it's not like 100%, at least not yet. I was trying to add a pulse in just to make it into a pulse that's specifically set to the amount of time it needs to do the entire push out, pull back in. And I got a pulse generator that'll work for this, but I haven't been able to work it in yet. But what's okay is because when this happens, I mean, the next time a blaze hits even one of these, it actually just resets itself and fixes itself, so it's still okay. Considering that's a pretty rare thing to happen for the blazes' behavior and their movement and stuff. So they're not sprinting across the thing too much. Yeah. So yeah, I have. Well, let me show you that pulse generator. What did I do with it? I've been getting a hang up on using nether brick lately. I don't know what it is, but this is it. I mean, I needed something that had no redstone dust in it, so that I could power a piston itself, and then just have a row of them that work separately from each other. So that's what this does. Here's my pulse. I thought I could work this in, but I haven't gotten it yet, and I'm not sure if I can with the setup I have, so I might have to rework the pistons again, rework the trapdoor, and I might have to point it down and see what... I don't know. Lots of stuff. Oh, this is the one already. Is this the... Yeah, this is... Alright, so this is the current one. Oh wait, this is trying redstone dust. I can't remember what the error was exactly I'd get with the dust versus the trapdoor. Maybe I can make it happen here real quick. If not, I'll just move on to the next... Or, I think it's the last part. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what it was. Oh yeah, look, I had like 2 pressure plates. It made like 4 of them activate. That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what the redstone dust is. It just doubles the amount of pistons that actually end up being used for... Yeah, instead you could just open a trapdoor. And I was talking about the lamps earlier, and so I'm trying to work that in as part of it instead of the trapdoor. And since power can travel through this compared to the trapdoor, I tried, pushing it out, and it actually acts as a bud for this spot and the block it's pushing, which I thought would be really cool and help me out. And so far, it's actually been harder. I don't know. Well, I'm still trying to wire it all from underneath if possible, or get these 2 blocks, but I'm gonna have to just go from the top, and I might still have it. And also I have this light turns on, and every time that does, the lighting changes in the area, so that just might create more lag anyway. That might not be worth it. The trapdoor is pretty good though. I'm happy with that one. But this is what I have so far. For the on, it does that, pushes out, pulls back 1, which is fine, because then when they get pushed off, it just pulls all the way back anyway. But this one, this one isn't perfect yet. And I said that other one had errors sometimes. Well, this happens a lot with this one at the moment, but I haven't been working on it too long. So I might be able to make this work at some point. I don't know. And I think that's everything. Fly through one more time, I guess. Should be like adding some music to here or something. I don't know. There's my snowman. That's just kind of been my spectator this whole time. I built like all of this. I think there's like copied versions of him on each of these platforms too. And yep, I think that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. And they pop out immediately. And lag, and oh, good to go. Alright, see ya.